Okay, so anyways, let's pick up where we left off. It's what they're asking us to do is it says trace the trapezoid onto a piece of paper, include the portion of the X and Y axes and bordering the third quadrant, cut out the tracing paper. Now remember, we're not going to do that because you can't do it on the PSAT. It is kind of a fun thing to do. Maybe we'll do it as a separate activity towards the end of the thing. So then it says place your trapezoid, and what we're going to do is we're going to be asked to rotate it 180 degrees counterclockwise. Now remember that if I go this way, that's clockwise, because that's the way the hands on the clock spin, right? Clockwise. And if you're not sure, just think of the numbers on the clock, right? This is 1, this is 2, 3. That's how the clock spins around. Counterclockwise is the opposite direction. So that would be counterclockwise. Okay? You go the opposite direction. And then we're asked to basically do TRP. So I'm going to do the R. So if I were to rotate 90 degrees, this R would be here. But I'm going to rotate 180 degrees, so now my R prime will be here. Yeah, you're kind of counting it. And if I were to draw a circle that goes from the origin, it says we have to rotate it about the origin. I didn't read every word. It says use the axes to help rotate. Oh, you know what? I'm surprised they didn't really specifically specify that it was the center of origin. The center of rotation was the origin, but it is. Now A is way over here, 6 units. So 6 units, it would have been here, but if I rotated 180 degrees, it would be here. Oh, wait. No, it wouldn't. That would be... No, it wouldn't. This is the hard part. A is parallel to the x-axis. So because it's parallel to the x-axis, if I were to take and draw a circle and do a half a circle, I would end up here. Do you see that? So that would be my A prime, not A double prime. I don't know why I did a double prime on R. You can. And even, and I'm a math teacher, so I have to stop and think and go, oh, okay, wait, if I rotate it, So now if I do P, and she's completely right, T would be perpendicular so T prime would be perpendicular to A prime R prime, and it would be up here, and T is at 5, so this would be T prime. Okay, and then you can count, and I don't know if the microphone picked it up, but students said, well, Mr. Adams, can't you just count how many over and away from it is from the original point? Yeah, you could. And then T, away from T, parallel to the x-axis is P, and how many units is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I come here and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that would be P prime. And now we just got to connect the dots. And it's easy, but it's not. You got to think to yourself, does it look like I rotated 180 degrees? Yes, it does. Oops, don't like that one. Okay. Now, did you guys grab the protractors? We should grab those every day. Just 2 people stand up and grab the protractors from over there. I think they're on my desk or whatever, or in the cubby hole. Where are they at? Do you guys have them? We got to measure some stuff. Does everybody have one? No? Where are they? Let's grab them real quick.
Where are they?
They're right there, behind my hand lotion. Will you pass those out? Anyways, what it wants you to do is measure the length from T to R. So I'm going to write down the answer. Once you get the protractor, I want you guys to actually measure and make sure. But this should be about 1.3 centimeters. RA is 1.7 centimeters. In other words, from T to R, this measurement right here should be 1.3 centimeters. From R to A, this measurement here should be 1.7 centimeters. Okay? From A to P, that's this measurement here, that should be about 1.5 centimeters. And if you don't remember, on the protractors, it has a ruler that's in centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That would be 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I measure something and it goes from here to here, this is where you get the 1.5 because I've got 1 and then each little mark is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you measure something and it looks well, I was going to do an image, but it won't let me rotate it easily. The software is not the greatest.
How much you have school for different stuff?
Yeah, I suppose I could. Or I could draw a straight line. Anyways, we'll just delete that. So if I have an image if I have something and I'm measuring it and it's this long and I'm measuring it with a ruler, it'd be 1.5 centimeters. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand how to measure things? No? Yes? No? Thumbs up if you understand how to measure and you're getting the measure. Thumbs down if you don't know how to measure stuff. Okay. All right, well, we'll do a separate thing on measuring things. But for right now, if you hold a ruler up to this, it's kind of hard to do on the screen. If you hold a ruler up to this, from here, from A to P, it's going to go at least 1 centimeter, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 little marks, 5 little marks, and that's 1.5 centimeters. So hold the ruler up to A, and put 0 right here, and then 1 will be like right here, and then it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little marks, and that's 1.5 centimeters. Okay? And if you're not sure how to measure, raise your hand, grab one of your neighbors that knows how to measure and they can show you. Okay? Anyways, let's finish filling this out. A to P is 1.5. And T to P is 2.2. Now, if you're drawing this by hand and you didn't use a straight edge, these might be a little bit off, but this should also be 1.3 centimeters. This should also be 1.7 centimeters. This should also be 1.5, and this should be 2.2 centimeters. So this was 2.2 centimeters. And then what they're saying is that the image right here, this will also be 1.3 centimeters if you measure that. From P to T, this right here, this will be 2.2 centimeters. This little line here will be from A prime to P prime. That's going to be 1.5 centimeters. And then from A prime to R prime, that's going to be 1.7. So what does that tell you about the side lengths? The corresponding side lengths are the same. So the question is, what do you notice about the lengths of the corresponding sides of the two figures? They are the same. And then for a protractor, you got a lot of 90-degree angles. So the measure of angle T, and I think I'm going to try this. The measure of angle T. Let me see if. No, it doesn't show it. Angle T is from R to T to P. That's a 90-degree angle. Okay. So that would be 90 degrees. And again, if you're not sure, I went over that YouTube video. I showed you guys how to measure things in that YouTube video. We can go over it again. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a worksheet of measuring angles and lengths. And then we'll just do that in class. I'll do it with the document camera and show you how to measure things. So then this would be 90 degrees if you measure angle A. And let me start writing this down. So this is 90. Measure R is 90 degrees. A, if you measure that, would be 108 degrees. So this angle right here would be 108 degrees. And then P would be 72. Now, do me a favor, if you have a calculator, add all those up and see what it equals. And then also it should be 360 degrees. This is going to be 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees if you measure this. This is going to be 108 degrees. And then this one was 72 degrees. So this one is 72 degrees. Okay? So that would be 90, 90, put the little degree symbol there. 108 degrees and 72 degrees. And then the question is, what do you notice about the measure of the corresponding angles? They are the same. And it says, what sides of the TRAP, the trap, parallel? Well, parallel means that they're like this. These two are the lines that are parallel. Also, while we're looking at this, these are the lines that are parallel. Right? So I have two, and what are those? Well, it's TP. You guys can see it in the book, but I'm trying to zoom in. It's the line segment TP. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, and I'm going to explain it to you. When I want to say line segment TP, I draw a little line over the initials TP. And that's saying I'm talking about the line segment that goes from point T to point P and the line segment RA. Now, if it was a line, I would put arrows. If it was a ray, I'd put one arrow. I don't know if that has been covered with you guys. Now, consequently, T prime P prime is parallel to R prime A prime. And it says, what did you notice? This is not exactly what the book says, but I know this is what you guys are thinking. They are the same. And I'm going to put sort of. And I'll explain why. Math is very technical. It's very formal in its language. They're not exactly the same, but the corresponding, and this is too much to write down, the corresponding parallel lines are parallel, right? TP is parallel to RA. T prime P prime is parallel to R prime A prime. Now, what does that tell us about the image and pre-image? All right, so it says, from your results in E, H, and I, make a conjecture about rotations. Well, what did you guys notice about rotations? Well, rotations preserve what? Preserve is a fancy way of saying they're the same. So what was the same on the rotations? What did they preserve? Well, they preserve the size, that's the length, right? And the shape has to do with the angle. So they preserve the size and shape, right? Like it wasn't like one was a trapezoid and the other one was a circle. It wasn't like one was a trapezoid and the other one was a hexagon. There were two identical trapezoids, but one thing was different. What's that?
The orientation.
Yeah, but the orientation changes. Okay, and then it says, lastly, place a tracing back in the original position and perform the rotation clockwise and counterclockwise. Now, this is a funny one. When you rotate something 180 degrees, so now what they're saying is, start back here with the pre-image, and instead of rotating it 180 degrees this way, rotate it 180 degrees this way. What happens? It would be the same thing. Isn't that interesting? So 100, and this is kind of an important result, 180 degrees clockwise, and I'm abbreviating this, is the same as 180 degrees counterclockwise. Okay? Now, does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, cool. What I'd like for you guys to do is read